Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I am your host, Mike Byrne, aka Magicman, and this is episode 278. We're recording on October 4th, 2018. You're watching it on the 5th or later, and we've got some totally didn't see it coming craziness news, a couple bizarre things, and then shakeups at a big company as people leave and people ascend in the ranks. And here to help me go over all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Wait, this is a video game podcast? I looked at the notes. I thought it was a hockey podcast.
We'll get to that later. I'm in Pittsburgh. That's all I have to say. Somebody just lost it.
I still hate the Penguins for the 1991 Stanley Cup Finals where they beat the North Stars.
I was 10.
Is Jaromir Jagr still playing somewhere?
Or in a hotel somewhere. Q, how are you?
I grew up in the desert, so we didn't do this hockey stuff.
Arizona has teams now, so it's like...
Now it's kind of freaky because I was watching Pawn Stars and they're talking about the Las Vegas hockey team, and I'm like, out of all the sports teams, for them to get first.
That's who I had to root for last year. I had to.
Hey, what about I was living in DC. Go Capitals.
No, It was Fleury. Yeah. All right, if we can't take it, at least Fleury can hold the cup up again. That didn't pan out either, but that's all right. Let's slide over and get started with the news. All right, so here we are. We had it happen today. You may not have seen this coming. And if not, this is going to be earth-shattering news for you. Bless Online is going free to play, Jason. Free to play.
What? No.
I know everybody is stunned that it is going free to play. Now, to be fair, they were kind of dodgy about this for a while. For a while.
They've been dodgy as fuck.
And I know there's something Jason wants to mention here too. We're gonna break it down here. So if you've been waiting to play the Western release of Bless Online, because it did shut down in other places again, if you've been waiting because you didn't want to shell out the money for early access, your magic date is October 23rd. That's when early access will end and the game will launch straight into free to play. So a couple things just on that. Jason, I think we would be remiss if we did not remind our viewers that the team behind the game has made some statements in the past regarding both free-to-play / pay-to-win, and we'll get to that one in a second. What I think we should talk about right now, though, is this was a game that was going to spend at least 6 months in early access. At least 6 months in early access. And when we predicted on previous shows with Troy, Jason, when's it going to go free to play? Because we're pretty sure it's going to. Your guys' predictions put it sometime in 2018. I put it in 2019 specifically because of the statement that early access would last about 6 months or more, and it made it not even 5. The game came out officially May 30th. Depending on the pack you bought, you may have gotten a May 28th head start. It will be free to play October 23rd, so just shy of the 5-month mark. It's going to launch free to play. Jason, what were your initial thoughts when you saw the news, no matter how snarky they were?
My initial thought was that I was sad that I slept in and Q got to write it up instead of me. So not that she did a fine job on it, but man, I would have gone full snark.
You know what, too? He because he gave me something last night and told me to write it this morning if I felt like it. So I was getting up, getting ready to do that. And he's like, hey, you need to do this because normally I give it to Jason, but he's not awake.
Yeah. As soon as I was literally in my email box going through because whatever comes in overnight, we tend to hit right in the morning. I had just cleaned everything out. I think I only had like one thing that I had previously sent to Q, so I didn't send her that email. I just said, she already has that. That's no problem. And then the whole email box was clear. And irony of ironies, it went to junk mail. I have no idea why, but it went to junk mail. I saw there was one there just as I cleaned everything out. I was, oh, what the hell is this? Click on it, and it was the press release for Bless Online going free to play with the whole trailer and everything. And yeah, Q's absolutely right. I did say, hey, drop everything. Please cover this right now. I normally would give this to Jason because I'm sure Jason has a lot to say about this one, but we need it up now. It has to go up now. We can't wait 2 hours for Jason or however long it was going to take him to get in. I forget what time it was when it came in.
I don't sleep in that late.
So Jason, I did think of you. So let's get your initial thoughts here now on the cast since we couldn't in text.
It's inevitable. It was going to happen. I agree. It worked a little faster than we thought, but when you look at how fast the game has gone down, they barely can cross like 500 active players now. When they started, their peak when they first started was 27,000. That's what Steam Chart says. Even for the first month of June, they averaged about 8,500. And then down to 2,200 in July, 1,300 August, 630 in September, and the last 30 days, 568. So yeah, they are, and they said this is the only place Bless is now. It's not anywhere else. This is where they're making all their money. So they got to do something, I guess. And they just figured, well, might as well just get it over with. And then we'll trash this and we'll go on to that console thing we're doing, Bless Unleashed or whatever. Because that's what's gonna be. This will shut down in 2019. I'll make my prediction now. It's not going to last a year.
You think not only does it go free to play later this month in just a few short weeks, but this game doesn't see the end of 2019. You're predicting a Western collapse that is 25% of the amount of time that WildStar survived.
Not just Western, but global collapse because it's nowhere else.
Well, I'm not counting the rest because they're already gone in a lot of places. It still does exist in some pockets, but in the big markets, Russia, stuff like that, yes, we've seen it. Korea was the latest one, right?
I think so, yeah.
The Korean market. Wasn't Bless? I know it. I'm pretty sure it was Korea.
It's hard to keep up with all the Bless Online shutdowns, I know.
Cool.
Yes, that was just
Troy's not here, so I got to make
last
that for
month.
him.
Just last month, their last remaining Korean servers were shutting down. So it's all about the Western market now. Q, what were your initial thoughts here? And I'm going to give you Troy's because I did talk to him too.
I was just kind of like, okay, well, I expected it, but I kind of tend to expect most games to go free to play at this point. So we were discussing it a little bit on Twitter, and it's like, the whole thing of, well, we're never going free to play because blah blah blah, and it's like at this point, unless you were Blizzard or maybe Square Enix, just go ahead and admit there is a chance that at some point your game is going to go free to play. There's no shame in it. If you need to go free to play to make money, that's fine. But just don't even bother saying there's no chance in hell ever, because then the players are like, well, you lied to us. If you just say there's a possibility at some point.
So this did, I brought up to Troy, who unfortunately could not do the cast. Troy's schedule, we have to plan like a day or two in advance for him to be on the cast. And the news just broke this morning. And so I said, it's really a shame that this didn't break yesterday or whatever, so we could have made scheduling arrangements for you to be on the cast. His exact response was, he has a week or so to let the feelings fester. So I'm sure he will be less than complimentary. I did, however, tell him this now locks it in. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, whenever we get our access to it, Troy and I will be doing a dual first look on Bless. And I will tell you this, and hopefully he doesn't watch this episode, I will do exactly what I said I was going to do months ago, Jason, where everything we come across and cover in the first look is going to be amazing to me. It's going to be amazing to me that they included this in this game. Guilds? Oh my God, there's guilds. So wait, we could get a group of friends to have... I'm going to have such a blast dragging Troy through some Bless Online. For those of you that did buy collector's editions, though, there are some perks to those as well. So if you bought the massive collectors, the big daddy one, the one I bought and then returned, you will get a free lifetime premium membership sub. Now, the sub doesn't offer anything new compared to what it offered already in early access, so there's no changes to that, but you're still going to get those perks for life at this point. Other editions, they'll be given like 3 months of premium membership, some exclusive skins, things like that, and you can check out the Steam page. It has all of those. They're also going to be dropping content at that point Some of this is coming. I mean, and some of it is almost here. I think like the Halloween event that starts when. Q, do we know off the top of the head when the Steam?
I think it was today.
Yeah, some of this is already running.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they dropped it today, and I think they said it ends. Oh, is it the 17th? I write so many Halloween things at once, I lose track of who's doing what when.
October. There you go.
There's things and well, some of them will roll into November. It's like
starting. That's when you have to write them up in October.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know anymore who's doing what. There's Halloween things.
You have to be at least level 10 and stuff like that. And some of this may be over by the time it actually makes it free to play. If you want to buy into the game, by the way, you can still do so until the 23rd. And you'll get the perks as if you had already purchased the Founders Packs. I don't know if any of you are still on the fence about this one to the point that might do it for you, but the option is certainly there. Going to be a new raid for high-level players, so there's even more content versus what some Bless fans will tell you, hey, they've been adding this and adding this and adding this already. There's going to be even more added to that. I got to tell you, the comments are not great.
I looked a little bit on Reddit, too, on like the people talking about it on the thread there, and it was it was a whole lot of, gee, didn't see this coming.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of people that are still playing it actively, though, Troy. Jason, I haven't seen a lot of people, like, pissed at how fast, which I'm surprised by.
Nobody cares anymore.
And I think it was in that ballpark of those players probably just want more players. Fine,
too.
Whatever you got to do, just go ahead and get us some more players so that we can play this damn game. Now, MMORPG did an interview with the Bless team that went up exactly as this press release, so they must have had a little bit of heads-up action on it or some inside knowledge. So kudos to them, and credit due. This is by Steven Weber. On MMORPG. And I'm not going to read you the whole interview. Check it out. I do want to point out a couple things said here, though, Jason, because they're things that you have been just boiling, waiting for the free-to-play announcement to talk about. Of course, one of the first questions asked is free-to-play benefits. And then the follow-up obviously becomes, how does it benefit new players, and what's going on with pay-to-win aspects? Which, to be fair, if you read the mixed reviews, of which there's a lot of them, there are some people that are kind of on the fence about some practices, whether you agree with them or not. There are people that feel a little bit of pay-to-win crunch going on here. And from what I remember, Jason, they were so concerned about pay-to-win that was the reason they couldn't possibly do free-to-play, right?
Can't do it. Their exact quote is, "We decided against free-to-play to prevent us, the developers, from being tempted into pay-to-win." Well, apparently they developed a backbone now because they're not going to do it. They're free-to-play, but they're not going to go pay-to-win. We somehow figured out how to mine that resolve to not do that. So good for them. Hey, dub to Neowiz for whatever.
They continue on that train, Q, saying in the interview, also because we're still completely against any pay-to-win aspects, new free-to-play players will not feel that they have to pay to keep up. We plan on keeping the game fair for everyone. We want people to feel that they're having fun. They can choose to support us by purchasing cosmetic items. We never want players to feel pressured to pay for certain things to be able to have success in-game. We expect many players to join Bless as it goes free-to-play, and we've already added a good amount of content such as dungeons, Siege of Castra, field bosses, and open field PvP for all players to enjoy. We'll have many promotions planned to help new users get into Bless and to further nurture our relationship with existing users, and we'll be talking more about those later. Here's one that Q, help me with this. So there's two questions here, right? Will there be any kind of freemium version that implements an optional subscription? Which I thought was kind of a weird question because there was already an optional subscription to the game. But their reply was, we'll be sticking to a business model that avoids pay to win. As such, we're not considering any ways of having players pay for better or additional content. However, there will still be an optional monthly subscription, as there has been in early access, and the benefits will be the same in free-to-play after launch as they were during that period. well enough, fine. But the follow-up question was, will future class releases be available only for players that purchase them? And Q, I don't know if this is just maybe translation or typo or, it was just said quickly. I don't know how the interview was done, whether it was text or anything. I couldn't tell you. But I thought this answer to this was weird. So Neowiz replied with, no. All right. Even if classes are released in the future, they'll be playable by all Bless users at no extra cost. Our commitment to keeping all content for all players, free or paying, is still strong. And I can understand where the question came from, because there was a new class introduced in early access. It was new to us. It was already in the game overseas. But parse that sentence a little bit. No. Even if classes are released in the future. That's almost like, we ain't releasing classes, but even if they were, like, it's a weird phrasing, Q.
I mean, it just could be weird phrasing and not actually anything intentional, or it could be that thing that people do where they try to avoid answering questions by being as vague as possible, like, I can't say anything wrong, so if I hedge it with even if or something like that, then I didn't say anything wrong kind of deal.
Yeah, I think if it's just oddly worded, Jason.
Yeah, I don't put much into that. I think that is, like you said, kind of a standard answer. Like, yeah, they're probably going to release classes, but if they don't want to get on that and have people go after them for that. But to me, the point that I think I get when I look through all this again, when I parse through it, they really seem to think that the better or additional content is the pay to win. But what about stuff like leveling boosts, or as you see in a lot of and I don't know how Blessed crafting works or anything like that, but is a lot of Eastern, a lot of Asian games have the thing where you have to you have a 5% chance to get the critical success, but it's 10% if you buy the thing off the cash shop or something like that. Now, is that going to be considered pay to win or an advantage? Because hey, you can keep trying, you'll get it eventually, so you don't really have to pay. So, but that's the sort of thing where it kind of toes the line when you just wonder you wonder what their definition of pay to win is, and it's probably as narrow as possible, so they can put anything else in and say, that's totally not pay to win. You can grind for 100 hours to get it. Sure, you pay $5 in the cash shop, but no, it's not pay to win. No.
It is really unique, Q, to see a game that's shut down like 4 times.
It is.
Make a free-to-play conversion.
To Jason's point, didn't they specifically say they would be selling cosmetic items?
Yes.
Yeah, they did say that. Well, that in addition to whatever else is on, it's not going to be just cosmetic. Let's be honest. No RPG, even the good ones do that.
This is the thing that kills me every time too, is like when these companies that are like, we're not going pay to win, or we're not going free to play because of pay to win, and then suddenly when they go free to play, they're like, well, we could sell cosmetic items, and it's like, no, really?
This is totally new. I like this question, too. One of the biggest draws to Bless lately has been the large siege battles, but often players are finding it tough to make it into them. Is Neowiz looking at ways of making this more inclusive to the casual player? And their response is, in the case of Siege of Castra, we didn't focus specifically on the casual player, as it was meant to be a feature for large groups of players to engage in PvP. So if it was a focus on large groups, why would you not focus on getting the largest group of players, your casuals, into it in some way? Anyway, however, since we want all players to be able to participate more easily, we are considering modifications according to player feedback to make it more accessible. So, Jason, if you were die-hard Bless, hardcore, long time, love it, getting in there, playing it, doing the siege, that can't be a good statement for you. Hey, I'm all for the free-to-play to bring players in, but now you're going to take like one of the key aspects of the game that was tailored for the hardcore, and we're going to adjust it in a way to let the filthy casuals in. Yeah, this.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, you can shut down the game because nobody's playing. So that's the other option. If you really hate that,
I think if you're a hardcore, like if you want to do hardcore MMO, go find a game that's intended to be for a smaller audience.
I think it was kind of stunning that the Bless team felt they had a hardcore audience, and then it was a size.
That's who's left.
Like, and truly, it is the only people left.
I mean, the draw for me was, again, as with a lot of, it looks pretty. So.
Yeah, even that though, there were. And again, I'm talking about right at early access. I got a refund, so take my opinion for what it's worth. You know, I felt that it just didn't warrant the purchase. I only played it for like 3 days, 2 days, whatever, before I got a refund for it. I know a lot has changed since then. Maybe my thoughts will be slightly different when we have a chance to go in and do the first look. So I'm not taking any of that away from somebody that's playing Bless actively and saying, hey, Mike, yes, there were huge challenges on day 1 and 2 that aren't there anymore, or improvements that you didn't see. I will concede and give you all of that. But even graphically, I wasn't hugely impressed, Q, on day 1. It is on Unreal Engine 3. So there's already some, whereas opposed to their console version, it's going to be on Unreal 4. So they're already a little behind, and I don't think they had an option, Jason, as far as engine, because the game has been around for 7 years.
Yeah, as I said, we first started talking about this back on Twimo when I started there in like 2012. So yeah, it's been around for a while.
We'll keep watching it. You're gonna get a first look soon. Troy's gonna be in on it. I can't. He really owes a video now.
I want to be there for that.
You want to what?
I want to be there for that.
Yeah, we may have to do that
you
first.
Live stream your
I was
first
just gonna
look
say
video.
we may have to live stream that first look and then just post it to YouTube. Do like a MMO bomb stream, bomb live. That's what it was.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we used to call it. Right.
Moving on to some bizarre news pieces, a little bit of weird for you as you get into Bless Online. Speaking of other MMORPGs that you kind of thought would go free to play, but this one hasn't. Black Desert Online, in addition to buying CCP, has managed to maintain its box fee with the occasional deep dive sale here and there. But now you have an opportunity to get it for free, Jason. If you want to play Black Desert Online for free, you can. Check it out. You don't even have to pay. From now until October 17th, so starting, it was yesterday, but you can jump in there now. If you go and make a new account, you can sign up for the 7-day free trial. That's not what we're talking about. They've done that for a while. But you can actually earn a copy of the starter package for the game for free, normally $10. All you have to do, Jason, this is all you have to do. Are you ready? Complete your character's awakening quest. That's it.
Oh, just one quest, that's all.
You do that quest, they'll give you a copy of the game.
Oh, sure.
Saving you $10. That quest is available at level 56, so go ahead. You've got 6 days now, where you've got a little over that, about 2 weeks. You've got like 2 weeks by the time you're watching this. You get yourself up to level 56, do your Awakening quest, and then boom, you get a $10 game for free. What's the matter, Jason? Why are you so down on this?
56 levels in 7 days. Sure. Which now there are people commenting in here who are like, "Oh, you can hit 56 in 5 hours." It's like,
Yes.
yeah, sure. If I'm just absolutely turboing through, ripping through as fast as possible, I could probably get pretty hot. 5 hours, I don't know about that. I'd have to look. I've never played the game, so maybe not. But yeah, I mean, you can get to level 50 something in an MMO. Modern MMO is quote unquote easy and soloable as they've been. You can do that in probably a couple days. It's not like it's that impossible. But if that's all
and I don't think that was your main gripe, was that,
Right,
oh my God, you have
right.
to grind hard to do that. You don't have a lot of experience in BDO, but I will tell you the leveling does go generally pretty quickly. Again, I haven't reached those levels. I think I'm like in my 30s or 40s on 1 or 2 characters, because it's one I just dabble in.
How long did you play? Like how many hours do you think you put in?
I could probably tell you that, actually.
Actually, you got Steam, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. Did I buy it on Steam? I don't know. Let's check. I don't think I bought it on Steam now that I think about it. Come on, Steam opening up. But your issue wasn't necessarily the time, whether it takes 5 hours, 10 hours, or whether it takes you every single day in that entire 2 weeks.
Sure.
Yours was more on, I think your gripe was more the experience.
Yeah, it's like, if this is how you want, this is ideally geared at new players, people who don't own the game and want to get a copy of it for free. And if you're encouraging them to just rip through your content as fast as possible, why even? It just emphasizes the whole, our early content is useless, ignore it, and just get to endgame. That's especially if they're doing it for the first time. I can understand doing that. If you've made a second character, you made an alt, you just want to go through the stuff you've already done, and you're tired of that story or the zones or whatever, trying to get through and get another character geared for endgame. But if you think it's a good idea for your characters, for your players to go through the game as fast as possible to get to that point, then what is the point of having all that stuff in the first place? So.
I did not buy it on Steam. I bought it before it was available on Steam, so I can't tell you how long I've played. I can tell you that although, I will give it this, and Black Desert fans, you speak up if you know, obviously you know a lot more about this particular title than I. Getting to like level 30-ish, 40-ish, I didn't feel like I was reading the main story quests, and I was paying attention to learning some sub stuff, and I feel like it was only a couple of days of casual playing. So I don't know if this is a huge breakneck thing for a lot of people, and I honestly don't know, Jason, if there is a lot of sacrificing of the content itself. I didn't feel like it took me all that long to get into the 30s. And 56 isn't that far away from that 30s and 40s. So Black Desert Online fans,
the first 28 levels,
right.
Next 28 are going to be a lot longer. So.
Right. Undoubtedly, I'm not arguing that. But Black Desert Online fans, let us know in the comments below. Do you feel 56 in a number of days, a few days, a week and a half? Is that breakneck pace through the story? You're not paying attention. You're just watching the scenery fly by as you grind out the levels. And while it may only take 5-10 hours to do, to make sure you meet the deadline, you're sacrificing enjoyment of the story? Or is that a reasonable pace, the way BDO works these days? Q, what are your thoughts?
I haven't played BDO at all, so I don't know as far as the story, but I did, I just kind of decided this past weekend to go back and like redo Ion, since they've got that new content coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm sure I wrote about it or something, so I either missed or forgot that they had added that new tech class that does the mechs. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And granted, I was on the fast track server, but it took me like less than a day to do the first 20 levels, and I wasn't really going at any extreme pace. I was reading all the stuff and everything else. So, I mean, depending on how it's set up, it's entirely possible that they could, knock it out without, missing stuff in the amount of time allotted.
I will say this for the title. I am BDO players. You can let us know about your feelings as far as the amount of time, and do you have to speed through it, or is that, can you still have the enjoyment? To Jason's point, can you enjoy the content created there, or are you forced to just dash through it? Let us know. I will say this, though. I am stunned that this game has not gone free to play yet. Not because, it's doing badly and I think, they need to pull Bless Online and go free to play, or the game's over. Just because it's been out for a while. Its player base is relatively stable, with the occasional dips and dives in here with some performance issues and big stories we've seen, obviously not covering it, so we only see the bigger stories. But more from an aspect of, Jason, of this game is typically $10. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it on sale for like $4 occasionally. Just like, at what point does the barrier of entry just not need to be there anymore? And I think we had this same debate with Secret World before they made Secret World Legends, which at what point does the barrier it's totally unnecessary anymore?
So I was thinking even of Guild Wars 2, which was kind of the same way, that they often discounted that to like $5 or $10 before finally going free to play. When was that? About like mid 2016, I think, or something like that. 15 or 16. It was just before the first expansion, so it was like 2015. So that was about 3 years after it came out, and we're at about a year and a half for Black Desert. So maybe then, or maybe once they put out a big expansion, maybe they'll make that move too. So, but yeah, I would not be surprised to see it happen and not be not be a desperation move. Like I said, not what like Guild Wars 2 was like. Secret World maybe a little more desperate.
Speaking of Secret World, Q, how's that going? Secret World Legends.
I haven't been in it in a while.
Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't.
I mean, they put out that new scenario, but I'm not a big scenario player, so
I don't even know what a scenario is.
It's
just leveling.
it's kind of like a dungeon, like a repeatable dungeon. You just grind them over and over and over again to get gear.
So a dungeon.
Well, except you do them by yourself. Like they're basically solo or duo dungeons.
It's a solo dungeon. Okay, fine.
But
that's one thing I liked about Ion. Now, since you were talking about that, was the solo and duo dungeons.
Yeah, they're fine, but it's basically there was like 3 types originally, and in all of them the objective basically came down to protect these dumbasses that we put here that are going to get in your way. No, you're in an enclosed room and there's just waves coming at you.
Oh, okay.
Continuously. Okay. Protect these dumbasses. At some point we'll give them some arms and then they just do really stupid shit. But anyway, as long as you got one at the end still alive, you're good.
Yeah, it's like a horde mode type thing.
Yeah, the new one, they took out the protect people, and it's just waves and waves, and it's apparently unlimited waves because it's so you can get to a certain point and you can select to stop and you get your rewards, or you can elect to just keep going. And apparently, if you do stop, when you go back in the next time, it picks up where you left off. So that's
cool.
Kind of cool.
That is cool. Sorry, we got sidetracked there a little bit. I just wanted to see how SWL was doing. Other bizarre news. Oh boy, this rears its ugly head again. So a while ago, we reported on some feuding between En Masse Entertainment, the publishing team behind Terra, of course, Bluehole Studios being the developer, and their community. And it all stemmed from some third-party applications and some potential backdooring capability that might have been there. And though the people said, hey, we're not exploiting this, but this kind of stuff can be exploited. Yeah, that didn't go too well. That was kind of a knockdown, drag-out fist fight. Well, that fist fight just went to a 15th round, Jason. What the hell's going on now?
So apparently, not only it's one thing for you to ban players in your game or whatever for that. Okay, fine. If they're cheating, you do that, fine. But they've apparently, En Masse that is, apparently issued DMCA takedown notices against various GitHub and Discord communities that promoted and distributed these softwares, this kind of software. So they went completely outside of the game and used the power of the internet of DMCA to take down people who were just talking about it and doing it outside of there, which, first of all, I didn't know you could issue DMCAs against anything other than like actual media like YouTube or Twitch or something like that. I didn't know you could do that, so I learned something. But yeah, apparently you can shut down someone's Discord if you don't like what they're talking about, I guess. So.
Unlike last time, though, I will give it to En Masse Entertainment a little bit here, Q. Unlike last time, where if there was a breath of this on the forums, it was getting shut down and not commented on at all. There is an open thread on the forums to discuss this. Now, of course, there's disclaimers on it, so like this is their post there. This is the thread from the news and announcements areas. Please be kind, respectful, and if you want to add constructive feedback, it's welcome. Disciplinary action will be taken if any player uses foul language, attacks EME employees or other players. Bookmark this thread. We'll update where to find our latest posts in regards to this topic. And they gave the most recent update was today or yesterday. They said the Terra PC team is working on something to share by the end of the week. Per Denominator's forum post, also quoted the start of this thread, we ask for your patience. We want to be sure we provide you with meaningful updates, so this post will serve that purpose, etc., etc., etc. And their next update is planned for the 7th currently. So if you're following this drama and you want to see what En Masse is trying to do about it, look for that. The week of October 7th is currently where they have it pegged at. I gotta say that, Q, I kind of think that En Masse is in a weird spot here. They're in a very Trion Worlds Arc Age spot. Now, the two comparisons aren't exactly apt because there were things that Tryon did as the publisher that led to audience grief, and Tryon tried to then turn around and say, we're just the publisher, not the developer. Right, but the things that players took umbrage with were the cash shop implementations and things like that, which were more publisher related. En Masse, when it comes to problems in the program that are being fixed by third-party solutions and performance issues and things like that, that is a situation where En Masse can kind of go, hey, we keep giving this to Bluehole, but we just published the game. We can't do a lot about this ourselves besides keep asking Bluehole to fix it. So you've got to appreciate, to a degree, and I think I said this when we talked about it in a much bigger context when the original issue happens, I can appreciate the odd position they're in. My problem back then was the way they did not communicate and the way they shut things down, and they didn't even want to give us official responses until we kept poking them and asking them for them. It seems this time they've learned a little bit of a lesson on that front, but I think you still got to feel for them a little bit, and there's only so much they can do when it comes to coding issues in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're publishing it, all you can do is deliver the message and say this needs to be fixed. I mean, I guess if you really, really wanted to, and if the problems get big enough, you can just go, well, we're just not publishing it for you anymore, so go fix it or find another publisher. But I don't think they view these problems as being that big. So, and possibly because, a lot of the problems were being fixed by the things the players were doing, so maybe players haven't been complaining about them as much because they've, come up with their own little fixes and everything. But it is a weird position to be the publisher and not the people actually making it. And
Navi? What the hell's Navi doing in your house?
I don't know.
Did Barney pick up something in Path of Exile?
I think he's playing with more sound things for Path of Exile. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I mean, it is a weird position to be in, to just be that kind of in-between person, not actually able to fix it, but definitely the people who take all the crap for it. I don't know.
Jason, on the flip side, devil's advocate, it was En Masse that issued the DMCA takedowns, not Bluehole, so some anger at En Masse, certainly I could understand. Again, we talked about this on so many issues. When you start throwing death threats out there and stupid stuff, I don't care what company you're talking about. You're in the wrong, and go away. And I don't think we need to go there. There is a way to say this is not the way you should have done things, and we feel unheard, that isn't threatening and abusive to somebody behind the scenes. So while I can appreciate En Masse, I can and recognize, hey, at least they're allowing the discussion to go here. I can also feel for their position a little bit and say there's only so much they as the publisher can do. But then you did also issue the DMCA takedowns, so... Ooh, Jason, it's still dicey. It just doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere. And I think that's what players want the most. Just let this go somewhere and get these improvements that we've made into the game for us.
Well, it's like you said, though. They probably can't because they can't force Bluehole to do it. Bluehole's making... First of all, Bluehole has some other game that's making some decent money for them, some player unknown ground battle or something like that. So, maybe they don't care as much about Terra anymore, especially at this point.
That's also not to say that everybody using these third-party things is entirely above board either. Yeah. I'm not making that assumption either. There's an ugly side on both sides of this.
Even though our source said, I do everything right and I've never do anything malicious and so forth.
And we have no reason to doubt them.
And they might not, but it certainly is possible. Again, probably that someone using their programs or could learn from them and do something that is wrong. And they probably do have to maintain that kind of vigilance about their game, especially now that they've, again, a year and a half ago, we reported there were various, community managers or GMs or whatever who were saying, go ahead and use your program as long as it doesn't hurt anything. Clearly, they shut that down. They said, no, you can't at all. But here we are a year and a half later, people are still doing it. So the programmers certainly can't claim ignorance at this point. That was an issue before. certainly isn't now. But even so, yeah, you got to wonder what they're going to do, if anything, to try and solve these issues. Because they said, "Oh, we're going to look into this and try to do something." And apparently, again,
We'll see.
judging by our source, they said they've been saying that for years, and
Yeah.
nothing's happened. So,
Well, we'll see. We'll certainly be keeping up on that topic. Before we slide over to the bombs, Q, some big changes at one of your favorite companies. What's going on?
One of my favorite companies. You realize I don't actually really play any of their games, right?
Hey, that doesn't mean they can't be one of your favorite companies. We have a lot of friends that work there.
This is true. There are people that I like there, and most of them. Yeah, I was sitting on Twitter last night, and Olivia pops up with a thing basically saying that there's a new president at Blizzard.
Wow.
So, I mean, I went Googling, and did some stuff, and I was like, oh, so Mike Morhaime is gone. Okay. He's not gone. He's not, like, completely gone. He's staying on as an advisor, and think of it, the head of WoW is stepping up to take his place.
yeah, J. Allen Brack.
Yes,
And that's pretty typical when you have big, fortune type companies. When the CEO or the president steps down, if they're able to, they didn't die or anything like that, they stay on in some type of advisory position just to kind of assuage the stockholders, if nothing else. And maybe Mike intends to be fully active in that advisory position, but it's not odd. Did he say why? I know he posted a letter. Is this I want to be with my family some more? I've been doing this for decades. It's time to go spend all this sweet cash I made.
Go swim in my money bin.
Basically, it's been like we've been doing this for 27 years, since Blizzard was originally Silicon and Synapse. Like,
Yeah, you forget how long ago that was. Wow.
Yeah, prior to Chris Metzen even being a thing there, and it was kind of one of those things. I was sitting there like reading it, and I thought to myself, if Chris Metzen were still there, I bet he'd be taking that position.
I bet.
But yeah, speaking of the sweet cash, what was it? I Googled it last night. I can't find it now. But yeah, Mike is not hurting for cash at all, ever. I was just... I think he's actually worth more individually than the company is, or something like that.
Well, that's why I said it's time to go spend some of that. And I'm sure he, spends his fair share and has some fun with the cash that he has. God bless him, have fun. But now it's time he's going to buy an island. I mean, just buy an island and have some beverages.
Make a real life battle royale.
Right?
Yeah, a little mystery island.
That would be great. But I did notice on Twitter last night a lot too, and this morning, obviously we know a lot of people that have met him or, at BlizzCon and stuff like that. And it is kind of a sad thing for a lot of people, because Mike Morhaime is a lot like, say, Todd at High Res or whatever. He's not like that guy that because he's in a position of authority you can't ever talk to. Like, he was just stand there.
For so many people, Mike he was Blizzard to so many people.
I mean, he would just, kind of like you could run into him in the hotel, and he would stand there and chat. It wasn't like he ever didn't, unless he was actually trying to get to a panel. It wasn't like he didn't have time to actually stand there and just talk to average fan X. So, I mean, it's a lot of people are pretty sad about it.
Prediction, what's it mean for the company? Does it mean anything? Is it just business as usual? Is this indicative of some bigger changes coming in company philosophy? What do you guys think, Jason?
Yeah, no, not really.
Same old, new face?
Same old. Yeah, pretty much.
I tend to agree. Q, I think you're
some
on
good
that.
jokes coming. Some good jokes coming out of it, though. The two that I saw were one that is WoW is doing so poorly, even their president's unsubscribed.
Ouch.
And the second was,
I think Blizzard is fine. I spent most of this morning doing an entire speculative piece for Game Skinny on what's going on with Diablo, since it's in the sweet spot on the schedule. I think they're fine. It's just he's been doing it for nearly 30 years. He's got more money than he needs. So,
I mean, the dude towels off at the gym with $100 bills. I mean, he just
like
Oh,
why
what a
not
workout.
just step back and advise and not have to deal with the day-to-day stuff of actually running a business?
I think it's Activision. He hates them. No, I'm totally totally making a joke there. Hey, no, good luck to him in everything he does, and it's time. I'm not going to begrudge the guy for anything. He's put passion into everything I've ever seen. You could tell he loved what he did there. And now it's time to reap the benefits. Go enjoy all that cash. You earned it. Let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Q, you're up.
Oh, I'm going to give an A-bomb to Secret World Legends for apparently being the only company that hasn't announced what their Halloween event is going to be. You would think that out of everyone, they would have been on top of it first, because Halloween is literally what they do.
That's it.
That's what their whole game is Halloween.
Right, I was going to say, their event should be running year long. Maybe that's the way they're looking at it. It's a Halloween game, guys. Shut up.
Didn't I see a little video teaser of like people dancing with the pumpkins?
The
on
pumpkins.
Yeah, but it's no announcement. Yeah,
no actual announcement.
Like,
okay.
No announcement, just that.
Although I just see on Twitter 3 minutes ago that the servers are back online, so maybe it's up now.
Well, let me see. Is there? Yep, there's an announcement on Discord.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
you know
wait,
what? This might
news.
not. Yeah, this might not break after we record for once. Like the last 15 free-to-play casts, I've had to pin a comment about something we talked about immediately breaking within 3 hours of us finishing recording.
You want me to look?
Yes, go ahead, look.
We'll do our bombs while you're
yeah,
looking.
go ahead, Jason. You can do yours.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to the Vancouver Canucks. This is the NHL portion of our broadcast because they banned Fortnite.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, apparently it's they want their players to go out and hang out together instead of sit in their hotel rooms and play Fortnite. Apparently, which to me sounds like you should just form groups to play Fortnite, and then you can hang out together. So
I think if you're being paid bajillions of dollars for a game, and you can't figure out that, hey, I should probably be doing other things than playing Fortnite. Why did the team have to ban this? Like, where are the adults in the room when the ownership was like, we got to ban this?
I don't think it was ownership. I think it was players, the team captains or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right.
Which is still stupid
because they're Jason who linked the thing saying that they're comparing Fortnite to heroin addiction.
Yeah.
No, that was a different story. That was a totally different.
But I'm saying, like, it's that whole
mentality.
Yeah, that.
Well, the thing is, though, any player on the Canucks is younger than I am. So it's like, come on, get over it.
I don't think that's just limited to the Canucks.
Well, yeah. Again, is Jaromir Jagr still playing?
That's true. You know what? That's bugging me now. I'm going to go with no, but here we go. Wow. Google knew exactly what I was looking for.
Now there's an article on ESPN that says Canucks banned Fortnite and some in league don't agree. Like, other players are chiming in and saying this is stupid.
Well, I mean, wouldn't they be out drinking otherwise or something?
Well, that's the point. They said they want to go out together
up
and
with
have
chicks or something. So either way, they're going to be doing stuff that takes away from their concentration on the game. It's just this one keeps them out of jail.
Oh, good. The Ottawa Senators aren't planning a Fortnite restriction. That's what one of their players said. So there we go.
All right, so updated. This was January of this year. Jagr had cleared waivers from the Calgary Flames. And is expected. The expectation now is the veteran forward will be placed on unconditional waivers for the purpose of terminating his NHL contract that will allow the 45-year-old Czech native to return to Europe and potentially play for HC in the Czech League. He still wants to end up retiring from the NHL itself, though.
He'll be back by mid-season. Someone will sign it.
Yeah. Is he going to retire? I mean, he's got to retire. He's got to retire as a Penguin, right? I mean, he has to. Has to. Good old 6'8". All right, I'm gonna also NHL because I love hockey. Have since I played at a very young age. I'm gonna give an A-bomb to God, I can't even say the name.
Alexander Ovechkin.
Thank you. Ugh.
There you go.
Ugh, I couldn't.
You do. Like it's not pronunciation. You just hate him. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can't pronounce it. Come on. But it was like stuck right in here, and I didn't want to throw up. Long live the Penguins. That is all. And the only reason I'm bringing him up is because now I'm never playing a wargaming game again.
I gotta get him to captain my warships now.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out World of Warships on MMO Bomb, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that, Oh, I can't get that taste out. From the viewers, Root says Sony wouldn't have gotten into cross-platform if us consumers didn't demand it. They were hoping we'd stop talking about it, but since we didn't, they brought cross-platform to their service. I think that's a huge part of it, Root. I don't think you're far off there. Go ahead, Jason.
Thanks.
He who makes the show notes.
Last name enormous. First name Dixie says,
You wouldn't do it. Come on.
See, I would have.
I consider the Xbox Live paywall to be great. This is the first time I've ever heard this. All right, let me keep reading here.
This is not the first time I've ever heard this, and I don't necessarily disagree.
All right, so DN continues by saying, have you ever tried playing free-to-play games on PlayStation Network? It's a shit show. Never understood why Sony charges for you to play the games online that you bought, yet you can download and play the free ones online for no cost. Okay. Also, did you guys miss Pete Hines' tweet after Sony announced Fortnite crossplay? He basically said 76 is not going to be cross-platform, even if Sony was to allow it. According to him, they wanted to do it, but because Sony had said no, they didn't plan or work toward that goal.
And while I did miss it, so Dixie Normus, thank you for pointing it out. I don't know if the other panelists did, but I did miss it. And as much as I think Mr. Heights is being legit in that statement as of right now, I have a feeling it'll change. Even if it's after launch, it'll change.
Well, his big statement too is about like Elder Scrolls Legends. Was
Right,
like they can't make it where you have your card collection on PC, but they don't have your card collection on PlayStation. So,
go ahead, Q.
I did actually see that, but I think it...
What the?
No. Anyway, Cheryl, ArenaNet shifted focus heavily towards the loot boxes like the Black Lion chest or the random die packs, etc. in the past half year or so, while their other Jib Store items, let's not get started on actual game rewards, were put on the back burner in favor of more attractive loot crates. I am more than happy to hear Belgium decide to stick to their guns in this regard.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. News had just broken like hours after our free-to-play cast last week, and finally ArenaNet figured out a way to just shut off the loot boxes. So,
but the weird thing about it, you say Belgium stuck to its guns, but Belgium, as far as we know, didn't go after ArenaNet or any of the other million games.
To our knowledge, yeah.
So,
that Harv guy says, quoting Jason, yet Champions Online is still going, a quote Jason made on our last show. And that Harv guy says, me, listening to free-to-play casts while playing Champion Online's 9th anniversary event.
I do mean to play that game someday. Someday I'm going to log in and make characters. I played back in my day. I played Pen and Paper Champions, the RPG, back in like the 1980s. So,
that was
had a bit of a soft spot for it.
But the world wasn't in color yet. Go ahead, Jason.
We had 4 colors, just like the comics. The Seventh Sin says, A-bomb to Jason for being grumpy. Well, I'll get used to it, buddy. I wanted to hear the moving story.
Talking about Q moving.
Q moving. Okay, I thought that was like, what did I do?
So somebody,
right. That was when I shut her down. Yeah.
Right. So somebody, Seventh Sin, was upset that you cut Q's story off, but I'm going to tell you, somebody later was happy that you did it. So just like everything else we talk about on this show, it evens out.
Well, last week it's the moving episode. This week is the hockey episode. So next week will be, I don't know.
Who knows? Go ahead, Q.
Tickle 23.99 to bomb to Vance McDonald. That's
double bomb to that bird.
Huh?
Double bomb to that bird.
Get off.
No, that bird is dive bombing. That's different.
Anyway, that stiff arm dude didn't do anything when he was with us 49ers, but why are you making me read a sports thing? But I'm glad to see him making a name elsewhere. A-bomb to Final Fantasy XIV. They've spent years hyping Zolasas Galvas up to be this elderly, stately ruler. Then they turn around and give us Armand Goldman from the Birdcage. That's why you gave me the sports one.
That's why I gave you the sports one, and because it had a birdcage reference in it. And you know what? Tico's not entirely wrong. Go ahead. Omega Contagion says, I love Jason's response after Q's rant about moving. Ha 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 ha.
See there, someone liked it. There we go.
I think he just liked that Jason was being mean.
Yeah,
That's true.
Not necessarily hated my story, just liked that Jason's mean.
But I might also give a bomb to Vance McDonald soon. I just picked him up in fantasy, so.
That was a hell of a stiff arm. Go ahead, Jason.
Joshua Knight says, not sure if A-Bomb or Dub-Bomb to both, the PlayStation for finally allowing crossplay on Fortnite. Took their sweet time. Banning crossplay because your console is supposedly the best place to play makes zero sense and actually damages your company's view. I'll tell you personally, I'm afraid to try any free-to-play game on PlayStation now. Because I don't know if it's going to shut down my account otherwise.
Right.
So. If all consoles allow crossplay on all games eventually, I will still be buying Nintendo and PlayStation consoles because I like the way Japanese companies make consoles. I am not a fan of Xbox. I agree there. As technology now allows crossplay, it should be up to the game developers whether to allow it on individual games. A-Bomb to WoW. Never knew I could lose interest in an expansion this fast. Only around 10 hours played and done for now. Perhaps I just don't enjoy the modern MMORPG experience.
Joshua, wow, that's 10 hours. It's generally being really, really well received. So
yeah, I was gonna say
surprised.
everybody I've heard talking about it has been like raving. The whole group of people he watches play Path of Exile dropped Path of Exile to play WoW for a while, and then came back to Path of Exile with a new.
That's not to say there
came
aren't.
out.
That's not to say that there aren't people like Joshua who just it didn't scratch the itch for them. I'm just, it's not something that you would look at Steam and see mixed reviews. They're generally pretty positive. Question of the week last week. What will you miss from WildStar? Now, whether you were a longtime player or not, what did the game do correctly that other MMOs need to do in the future? Gesley says, as always, just finished the latest episode of the Free-to-Play cast, and it was fun to watch. Thanks, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
While I will miss jokes about all of your accounts from WildStar, I won't. Thank you.
Oh, I'll keep making them.
Shut
I still give
up.
them crap about Phantasy Star Online too. So
Shut up.
This will live forever.
I still play it. But for real, I played WildStar 30 hours max casually and probably won't miss it at all. But I enjoyed their quirky advertisements, and from game itself, I like the art style. The announcer when you got leveled up, building your own home was neat, and overall, their funny take on game in-game jokes, characters, comments, etc. For me, it was an okay game, but most people did not like it, so it has to go. Goodbye, WildStar. I think that's one of the things I will miss. While some of the humor I thought was just over the top and ridiculous, there were a few, and I could pinpoint some of the writers that did consistent things, because there was some subtle, very, very funny stuff that wasn't like the over-the-top Jim Belushi type physical comedy stuff that I did appreciate. Go ahead, Jason.
Chris Baker says, question of the week, as cheesy as it might sound, WildStar had some good humor in it. EverQuest had the ding when you leveled up. WildStar had the, oh shit, you leveled up. Way to go, cupcake. The game was still shit, though. That part of it, the actual leveling up, was something I disliked when I played.
You didn't like that? That was the humor. I think
that was too over the top.
The too over the top humor that I was just referencing for you. Go ahead, Q.
Jason just doesn't like being called cupcake.
I like cupcakes.
Joshua and I miss all the people saying WoW is dead and WildStar is the new great WoW killer. That was a good first 2 weeks. I enjoyed writing a lot of WoW is dead articles, but we did it as jokes.
And I still have, from an old Twemo, a bit of a conversation from someone who said, WildStar will prove sub games are the future. Guild Wars 2 will prove free-to-play experiments won't last.
Wow.
That,
I love that.
It is a screenshot of a Twitch conversation.
Yes,
I know
because
I have seen it 100 times every time.
No, not
Jason.
that many.
I have seen it many times. I have seen that many times.
Not as many times as you see as you have WildStar accounts.
RS Jabber says, question of the week. I hate Jason. WildStar has fantastic races. Robots, space zombies, and those rock-made people were my favorite. I wish more MMOs would dare to be creative when it comes to playable races. I think there's definitely something to be said.
I'll give it that. I will give it. It wasn't just elves and dwarves.
Yep.
Girls.
Go ahead,
It did
Jason.
have zombies and bunny girls, though, so I don't know.
Finish it off, Jason.
Daniel Oppenlander says, it's so sad WildStar is going away. I'm going to miss the lore. Damn them. I love the lore, and I love to explore every area to get cubes to get to know the lore better. So sad I don't get the full lore. They still got, a couple more months or whatever. Weeks. Days.
End of November, isn't it? So
Yeah, okay. Something like that.
you still got some time. Question of the week this week. Now it's time for you free-to-play players to make your decision. With all the changes since launch, has Bless become interesting enough for you to download it later this month when it goes free to play? Why or why not? Put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget your weekly bombs while you're there. D-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad. It could be in the world of gaming or anything you want to talk about. And if you have a question for the panel, put it there too. Until next time, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hanging out on Twitter at Quitland.
Mr. Winter.
Find me on Twitter at WinterInformal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. You can follow me right there at MagicMan1 on Twitter, but more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so we can send you all the interviews, giveaways, news, first look videos, free-to-play casts, and more. Until next time, gang, stay safe, and we'll see you out on Bless Online servers.
Go Caps.
Shut up.